And the Buffalo Bills will win on week 3, but make no mistake, it's going to be a challenge. Yo ho ho, Da Mafia. Welcome to yet another edition of the Da Mafia Report, and I think that I have finally come down off of my high horse after the Buffalo Bills absolutely beat the out of the Miami Dolphins this past Sunday, even with Josh Allen really not being able to show up. The Bills essentially handled the Dolphins without our quarterback for the most part. However, now we're shifting focus into the Washington football team, who I think has a very high potential in being a trap game. It is going to be very tight. I mean, of course, the Bills' luck. We go up against, I would say, probably like one of the top 3 defenses in the entire league. We played the Pittsburgh Steelers, great front 7. We played the Miami Dolphins, great secondary. And now we play the Washington football team, who in my opinion has the best defense in the league. And although they haven't proven it so far this year, there's some chemistry things that we're going to talk about, and hopefully it plays to our advantage. However, as always, I'm going to be dissecting what I think the Buffalo Bills offense needs to do against the Washington football team's defense, and what the Buffalo Bills defense needs to do against the Washington football team's offense. But right before we dive into that, here is a word from our sponsor.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to hop in real fast and let all of you know that you don't know about football. Your knowledge of the game is embarrassing. What's wrong? And did I just bruise your ego? Did I damage your self-confidence? I'm a good guy, so I'm giving you an opportunity to prove me wrong. And what you're gonna do is you are going to bet against me on Vigit. Dan, what the hell is Vigit? Well, let me tell you what, ladies and gentlemen. This is an application that allows you to put in your sports takes, your sports bets, without having to risk your mortgage payment whatsoever. The second that you log into Vigit, you are going to have the opportunity of winning coins. These coins are also going to be able to be cashed in for various prizes, and even the best person in the entire application is going to be flown out to the Super Bowl. And so this is the best app on the face of the planet without having to risk any actual real money. Very low risk, super high reward. Every single week, I am going to be on this app and I'm going to be giving my picks for each and every single game. Spreads, prop bets, you name it. And I want you to bet with me. What I want you to do is I want you to hit that link in my description or hit that link in my bio right now. Join my league. The password is HIT72 and start betting against me and show me that you actually know what the you're talking about. So whatever you're doing, stop this video and sign up for Vigit today.
Without wasting anybody's time, let's go on ahead and just dive into this. How the Buffalo Bills defense needs to address the Washington football team's offense. Now, the vast majority of us in the beginning of the season, we saw Washington on our schedule. We thought that we were going to see our good old pal Fitzy. That is not the case. He suffered a hip injury. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. So now the Washington football team is going to be turning to Taylor Heinicke. And I know a lot of us are probably just like, oh, damn, that's just a backup quarterback. The way that the Buffalo Bills front 7 was going up against the Miami Dolphins offensive line, we're about to eat. Unfortunately, I would say that I think Heinicke is a very slept-on quarterback. Not only did he give Tampa Bay a very difficult time during their playoff run with that front 7, which is a very good front 7 in Tampa Bay, he has also proven to be very, very effective in multiple statistics. So with that being said, let's go on ahead and just dive in to Taylor right before we start getting into some of the weapons. Throughout his career, and I'm just pulling up his career numbers because legitimately the guy has only started a handful of games in the NFL, 65% completion percentage, 1,231 yards, 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and an 84.3 passer rating. Now, so far in just 1.5 games, he's been very, very effective. And what he does best is play action. In fact, 35.3% of every single play that is called when Taylor Heinicke is under center is play action. And here's the scarier thing about it, is the fact that he currently boasts a 144-point passer rating when you are in play action. That is third in the entire NFL. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that they have some scary-ass running backs between Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissic, but he tends to thrive when they are calling plays in play action. Same thing with snaps. It goes right down to the fact of how efficient they are on the ground, the personnel they have in that backfield. You're going to see a lot of screen plays being called as well. So far, it looks like it's been 13.2%, which is pretty significant, especially since the Bills are only sitting at around 5 to 6. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is a part of the Washington football team's offensive scheme against our defense. The most important thing when it comes into Heineke is really looking at how he performs under pressure and how he performs against the blitz. Pressure, like every single quarterback in the entire NFL, when you give them pressure, they are significantly worse. There's not many quarterbacks, I think, that have ever existed that have had similar numbers with pressure and not being pressured. When Heineke is kept clean, you're looking at a 77.6 completion percentage. When he's being pressured, 58.3%, a significant drop-off. And that is organic pressure. That is just, natural pressure from your defensive line. Now, unlike many other quarterbacks that we have talked about throughout the past couple of years of analysis, he does not do well being blitzed. Most quarterbacks that are at least a little agile, a little athletic, they are essentially going to just carve you up. Heineke, not so much. When he's not blitzed, 79% completion rate, unreal, kept clean. When he is blitzed, 57.1. Now, the reason most quarterbacks carve up teams that blitz a lot is because you are taking players that could potentially be in coverage and sending them right past the line. He has struggled significantly. And I really wouldn't be surprised if the Buffalo Bills implement a heavy blitz attack against this guy, specifically with Milano, who had a damn game, and then other linebackers, maybe even some DB blitzes. So with those numbers being in mind, now we need to talk about the rest of the offensive weapons that they do have. Obviously, we need to start off with the backfield and Antonio Gibson, second-year rookie, who is a massive running back, standing at about 6'2", very damn fast, can catch the football, and the scariest thing of all is this dude, man, is averaging 3.4 yards after contact per carry. He's strong as hell, and the Buffalo Bills need to make sure that they need to make their tackles when they're going up against them. Same thing with McKissic. This backfield really needs to be taken care of because we cannot let them establish play action where Heineke thrives. Besides that, you have Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, who Joe Marino ended up saying earlier today in his podcast reminds him significantly of Stephon Diggs. Great route runner, has a lot of size, and that's probably going to be Trey White's number one matchup throughout the entire game. One thing that will help me sleep at night is the fact that Trey White practices against Stephon Diggs each and every single day during practice, so I'm really hoping that he will be able to take his experience and at least limit Scary Terry. Completely shutting him down is going to be 100% out of the picture. He is a tremendous weapon. Because once you go into Logan Thomas, who is also a very good tight end, they definitely have some weapons. But as far as the receiving core is concerned, I would say Scary Terry is probably the only one that I would be sort of worried about, if you will, because Curtis Samuel is currently out. He won't be playing this game. They have Adam Humphries, who was on the Titans last year, I want to say, slot receiver. I'm completely confident within our linebackers being okay from that coverage scheme. And then they have a rookie essentially serving as their wide receiver too. He's fast, but he's young as hell. As far as the offensive line is concerned, the Washington football team, I would say for the most part, outside of Scherf, is pretty average. Right? I mean, there's a lot of matchups that I think are going to be favorable, especially based off of how our defensive line performed the past two games. It's been one of the few consistent bright spots. The moral of the story is I think that this offensive line can get got on several different matchups going into it. As far as when it comes down into the Bills actually implementing a solid game plan against this Washington football team offense, you're going to have to put a lot of pressure on Heineke. Don't let him establish play action whatsoever. Blitz. There's so many times you'll see me say, don't blitz. This quarterback's going to tear you up. That is exactly what does not happen when you put that type of scheme against Heineke. I fully anticipate the Bills to have a heavy blitz package and make sure you make your tackles especially against those running backs. The Buffalo Bills have done a lot better in stopping the run. They really, really have. But like I said, with that Wirfs and also with Starr is tremendous at stopping the run, and Wirfs is probably one of the best offensive linemen when it comes into run blocking. Our linebackers and other defensive linemen are really going to have to stop, because we ended up really just highlighting those yards per contact after the carry from Antonio Gibson. So that's going to be something that I really, really want to watch out for. The key to stopping this offense is really make it as uncomfortable for Heineke as humanly possible. This dude's got a chip on his shoulder. He's been denied his entire life, and now he has an opportunity of proving Washington that he's the long-term answer. Let's not make him prove it Sunday. So right before I give you my take on the Washington football defense, I do want to preface this by saying, don't look into these numbers. I would say the Washington football team's defense is the best personnel-wise all-around defense that we have faced all year so far. Yes, including the Steelers, including Miami's secondary. However, these are the numbers. 24.5 points allowed per game, only 6 sacks with that defensive line. There's no way that you could blind react to that and guess Washington. 407 yards per game allowed, and then 291 pass yards per game. Now, obviously, let's go on ahead and just look at this overall personnel. Defensive line, legitimately, all first-round picks. They are all filthy, and they could make even the best quarterback go insane, specifically Chase Young. He is an absolute game breaker, and something that our offensive line really, really needs to go on ahead and take care of. Now, they're also a regular blitzing team. Unlike Taylor Heineke, Josh Allen does very well against the blitz. If you take out people from coverage, he's going to find that receiver and he's going to burn you. Because if there's any weakness on this Washington football team defense, weakness is even an overshot at this point. I'm saying it's the linebackers, maybe the safeties. Safeties are decent, but they can get got. Linebackers is going to be, I would say, the most favorable matchup for Josh Allen to attack this defense. Now, on the outside, they have 2 very good cornerbacks as well. They have Jackson III, who they got from Cincinnati, paid him a shit ton of money, and then Fuller, who is also very, very good. So legitimately, when it comes down into keys, strategies into beating this team, let's hope that they blitz Josh Allen and attack the middle of the field. I fully anticipate Beasley having a hell of a game. I see the running backs being able to really make some plays, but rather than trying to be all fancy and run on the outside, I think that they really need to, utilize Zach Moss and just have him be the bulldozer that he is, and hopefully our offensive line can make some type of window against this absolute monstrous Fort Knox that we're about to be going up against. Second thing is, don't necessarily be entirely scared of this overall secondary. Really, when it comes down into it, these players are great on paper. They're some of the best in the league, but you need to keep in mind that the defensive coordinator is new, and legitimately every single person in their secondary, their starting secondary, is brand new. Like I said before, those numbers that I ended up reading out to you, that is not what they should be on paper. It was earlier in the season. They clearly need to work their chemistry out as far as their communication on the field. That seems to be the issue at this point. Let's hope that they figure it out week 4 and not during week 3. The final score prediction, guys, I think that it's going to be pretty close, I'd say it's going to be pretty close. I'm going 28-24 Buffalo Bills. I think that there's not really going to be a time where I'm like, oh, damn, we're going to lose this game. I think that we're going to be up 28, and then with like 2 or 3 minutes left on the clock, Washington's going to be able to make some type of play, make it 28-24. They'll try failing an onside kick, and then boom, the Buffalo Bills regain possession, and there we go. It's going to be a good game, a strong defensive battle, and I hope that we can just remain consistent so we can go into Houston and fucking eat. As well, besides that, Dom Mafia, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another preview video. If you haven't already, smash the fuck out of that like button. That should go without saying at this point. Subscribe to this channel, and before I let you go, you better always remember, let's go Buffalo.